A U.S. passport is the gold standard of personal identification. It tells who you are, verifies your U.S. citizenship, but it also can unlock a lot of other things if it gets in the wrong hands. Today we're going to go over some of the risks and the fast fixes you can use to shut them down. I'm Sheldon with U.S. Passport Service Guide, and if this kind of straight talk advice is helpful for you, help us out too. Give us a like and a subscribe, drop any comments you have for questions we don't answer, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Now, before we go any further, I want to do a quick reality check. The actual risk of your identity getting stolen with your passport, if you take care of it properly, is really low. But we can take that down to almost zero with some of these good habits. But just in case the worst case scenario happens and your passport or its information are out there in the wild, the first thing you're going to want and need to do is to cancel it. That's Form DS-64, which you can either fill out online on travel.state.gov, or there's a paper form available there as well. We recommend going with the online option because it cuts off your passport immediately, so no one can use it to travel or cross a border. From there, you just have to get a replacement. We have a full guide on how to do that as fast as you could possibly need it down in the description below. But here's the reality. Most thieves don't want your passport to use to cross a border. They want it to steal information about you, to take over accounts you already have, or open new ones. For a lot of purposes, there's enough personally identifying information there for them to do just that. So again, the second you think that information may be compromised, cancel fast. If you have to make copies or provide copies, there's a smart way to do it. Same with if you try to keep a digital copy on your phone or your laptop. If you do it the right way, you bring the risk way down. So let's go over some of the major ways people are able to gain access to your passport information and what you can do to shut it down before it happens. Near the top of the list, fake government websites. There are a lot of scammers who try to create websites that look like official pages, but they're not. They're just trying to harvest information that they can then repurpose for their own nefarious uses. Some may even try to extort bogus fees out of you, making you think that your passport status may be in jeopardy. There's a quick fix for this. If you're doing any official passport business online, make sure you are on travel.state.gov. That is the official State Department website that deals with passport and passport issues. There's also the National Passport Information Center, which you can call. You can use these to do things like tracking application status or doing other official business involving your passport, and you can be sure that it's only an interaction between you and the government and not somebody else. Now, the only exception to this are reputable passport expediting services. These are registered middlemen who take care of getting your passport applications to a regional passport agency to help you get a passport application processed as fast as humanly possible. It can save you time. It can even save you money. We at U.S. Passport Service Guide have been reviewing passport expediting services for over 2 decades. Check out our latest top picks in the description. These are services that have been vetted and that you can trust with your passport information and to help you get a passport or visa or other travel documents as fast as you need for your international travel needs. Another way you can protect your passport doesn't even have anything to do with that document itself. It's your boarding passes and it's your luggage tags. They contain barcodes and QR codes and a whole lot of extra information that can give people access to things like your booking information or your address, phone numbers. While this isn't as bad as maybe your passport number getting out there, it's an important step that somebody might need to take to be able to get access to other information about you. Do not leave these things lying around. Once you reach your destination, rip those luggage tags off, make sure they get shredded. Same thing with your boarding passes. You're not going to use it again. Make sure it gets shredded and disposed of safely. Another thing to look out for is if you have scans or digital pictures of your passport, particularly the data page that has your photo, your passport number, and all your identifying information. Now, it's nice to have that handy in a digital format on like a smartphone or a laptop, especially if you're traveling often and you don't want to have that out there in the open. However, you need to make sure these digital scans and images are in some kind of digital locker, something that has multiple forms of authentication to be able to access. Things like biometrics, one-time passcodes, email backups, things that it would be really hard for a bad actor to get access to all of. The same goes if you're using email to either send or store a copy of your passport information. You have to make sure that account is as locked down as humanly possible. Otherwise, you're putting your information at risk. The digital risk goes even higher if you're using public Wi-Fi, say at a restaurant, at a bar, at an airport. Any information you have on your device, including that image of your passport, could be exposed. So avoid public Wi-Fi at all costs, especially if you know you're transporting sensitive information on your devices. You can avoid this by not having digital images of your passport if you can avoid it. A lot of times when digital information gets stolen, you don't even realize it until it's way too late. It's a lot different than physically having your passport removed from your person. Which leads us to our next risk, physically having your passport stolen from your person. This is the oldest version of identity theft, and there are plenty of people out there who still do it, particularly in very busy locations, like an airport, a crowded security line, a crowded train, a luggage pickup area. These are all classic pickpocket target areas. Not only that, these are some areas where people are at their most distracted. So first things first, never put your passport, passport card, or any other identifying documents down on a counter or in any place where it is not within your physical clutches, unless it's being handed to somebody official and then they hand it right back to you. When not in use, you're going to want to make sure you keep that passport as close to your physical person as possible. I like to have a travel wallet that I can wear underneath my clothes with a zipper pocket. No one's getting at that thing without me knowing it. So again, especially when it comes to things like a security checkpoint, you're not throwing your passport or your ID or your wallet into one of those bins. That stays on your person at all times. If you and your passport do get separated at the airport, first step is you want to make sure the TSA lost and found is alerted. So that way, if it is still somewhere on the premises and someone tries to use it, there's a good chance it could be recovered. The other thing you're probably going to want to do, and you're not going to want to hear this, is cancel it. You can go online to travel.state.gov, fill out DS-84 right there on the spot, and render that document completely useless. Now, this may ruin some travel plans. Protecting your identity is probably worth delaying your trip by a day or two in most cases. You can visit the nearest regional passport agency with an appointment, or you can contact the passport expediting service to try to get a passport replacement as soon as the next 24 or 48 hours in some cases, if you can prove you have that urgent travel need. Another question we get a lot is, once you've actually arrived in your destination, where should your passport go? Should you leave it in the hotel? Should you keep it on you at all times? It really depends. If you're going scuba diving, you're not going to be wearing your passport. In a lot of countries, something like a passport card or a government-issued ID is enough to prove who you are. In other countries, you have to keep it on your person. You have to be able to produce your documentation anytime you're asked by an official. So again, it depends on where you are. But if you've made the decision that you do not want to keep your passport book on you while you are abroad, you need to make sure it is secured. You want to put it in a safe that only you have access to, or some other lockable device so that no one has access to it. Simply burying your passport under your socks and your carry-on isn't going to be enough to keep it safe. If you do decide to leave your passport in the hotel, it's a good idea to have a paper copy or two, one at home where someone like an emergency contact could access it and get to you, and potentially one that you keep with you that has the information from your data page just in case you need some citizenship evidence while you're not in your room. And again, once these copies aren't needed anymore, make sure they're shredded and disposed of properly so they're not out there in the wild. For more on this, check the description. We have a link on how to help make that decision of whether you should leave your passport in the hotel or take it with you. Another security vulnerability that people ask us about all the time is the fact that there's an RFID chip inside your passport. What this is a little chip that stores a lot of your biometric information that is scanned when you go through customs. Now, a lot of people are worried that if somebody walks by me with the right device, can they just scan the information in my passport while it's sitting in my pocket? Not really. Basically, the outside layer of your passport book is shielded. It's meant to be scanned with the book open from very close range. Not only that, that scan means absolutely nothing unless it's paired with some of the information that's on your data page, which decodes and decrypts the information on the chip. That said, we still recommend getting a passport wallet or something that will actually have RFID blocking embedded in it to help give you that extra layer of peace of mind and security if you're traveling with a passport in your pocket. Passport cards also have RFID chips in them. However, they work a little bit differently. Unlike a passport book, which actually stores your biometric information on the chip, the passport card just has a randomly generated number that's used to decrypt and verify that your passport card is valid and it's yours. Even if some bad actor were to scan it, it would give them a bunch of information that's totally not useful. But as an extra layer of security, the State Department ships all passport cards with an RFID blocking sleeve. So keep the card in the sleeve. Even when you keep it in your wallet, it'll still fit. It gives you that extra layer of protection and peace of mind. A little while ago, we mentioned copies of your passport data page. A lot of times you have a scan of that either as a backup or, in some cases, you need it for hotels or rentals or tour groups. They want information from your passport to verify who you are and your legal status when it comes to international travel. Any clear copy of your passport information page gives someone access to your photo, your date of birth, your name, your passport number, and that scannable barcode strip at the bottom. In most cases, a hotel or a tour group doesn't need all of that information. Give them only what they require. And even then, only make sure you're giving it to groups or hotels or organizations that you trust are going to handle that information appropriately. If you're getting a weird vibe or a weird feeling, don't do it. If you're sure that a copy of your passport is required, add a watermark to it that explains who the copy is for, so for and then the hotel name, put a date that you're giving them access to this information, and write for ID purposes only. It's not going to do a whole lot, but it does mean if that copy gets into the wrong hands, someone's going to look at it and realize it's not intended for a use other than what you wrote on that document. Again, don't post these copies online. Make sure these copies don't appear anywhere online. And when you're done with them, make sure they are destroyed or stored very securely. There are other places that require ID checks too. Usually it's your name and your date of birth. They don't need things like your address or a copy of your signature. Places like bars and restaurants and concert venues often need to verify who you are and how old you are. Again, don't give more information than you need to. A passport data page has way too much information. Don't use that. Use something like a passport card. All right? It's only $30 to add on to your application when you apply for a passport, and it gives you a government-issued identification card with your photo and date of birth. It does not have your address, it does not have your phone number, it does not have any extra identifying information other than that. So, if you're trying to keep your identity and your information away from prying eyes, it's an option. Because let's be real, we talked about this in my passport card video. A lot of places, when they go to scan your ID, they're taking a picture, either with a smartphone or some other device. Now, they're not supposed to store these things. They're not supposed to share these things, but they do. There are plenty of cases where people have had their identity stolen from pictures taken at one of these types of venues. The reality is there's a lot of value in that information, especially if you're collecting it from a lot of people at once. You bundle all that together, it's got value on the black market to the right people or to marketing agencies. Two things you could do without. So for me, when I'm traveling internationally, I use the passport book only when I need to. I use the passport card for everything else, and that keeps as much of my information secure as possible. Another thing to look out for is if you receive a direct text message or a direct message through a social media platform or an email that's asking you to provide information to get help. A lot of times it'll be a message like your passport status has an issue or your passport application has hit a snag, and they're going to offer you help and support to solve the problem, which doesn't even exist. But let's face it, your passport is really, really important. If you suspect there's an issue, in a panic, you might just hurry to try to solve the problem before you fully assess the nature of the problem or if it's even real. So anytime anyone is asking you for information from your passport, whether it's the number or to send a picture or a scan, verify that you are on travel.state.gov or that you're interacting with a registered passport expediting service that you have reached out to first. If you're unsure, you can call the National Passport Hotline to verify if there actually is or is not an issue surrounding your passport. And you can also report the fact that someone is actually trying to phish for your passport information if it turns out there's no issue at all. As a general rule, do not open text messages or emails from sources you don't trust, and definitely don't provide information in the links that they lead to. And this last one is really important for a number of reasons. Be really careful with your social media posting while you travel. If possible, wait to post all those fun travel pictures and those vacation shots until you get home. There's a couple reasons for this. Number one, if you're live posting your entire vacation, you're letting the entire world know you're not home. You're also letting them know, if you're in an international destination, that your passport's out there for the taking. So while you're on your trip, snap away, take all the pictures you want, but wait to upload until you get home. The other reason for this is that will give you time to actually go through all of the photos and make sure there is no identifying information out there that you didn't intend to share. With image apps as strong as they are and AI becoming more powerful by the day, even something that looks like a fuzzy luggage tag or a passport book that's open way over on a dresser in the background could be up-resed and potentially vulnerable. This passport book is in the background of most of the videos that I do on this channel, but you've never seen the data page and you never will. I'm incredibly careful to protect that information because that is who I am and that unlocks my identity. You need to do the same thing when it comes to your travel photos and anything you post online. Make sure your identifying information is not exposed. So simply put, while you're abroad, turn off those location services so nobody knows where you are, and don't broadcast to the world that you're away. Post when you get home. So real quick, worst case scenario, your passport has been lost or stolen or your identifying information has been exposed. Don't fret. You can solve this problem. First thing you need to do, fill out DS-64 online or on paper, and then you can go about going through the process of replacing that passport using Form DS-11, either by visiting a regional passport agency, an embassy or a consulate if you're abroad, or contacting a registered passport expediting service who could potentially get you a passport replacement in as little as 24 hours. If you're worried it's too late and somebody already has your information, go to identitytheft.gov and there's a checklist there that you can use to start getting your identity back into a secure state and try to mitigate the damage that can be caused. You're also probably going to put in a credit freeze so no one's opening an account in your name or getting access to your credit and your financial information. For a full breakdown of what to do when your passport is lost, check out our video on the topic. I'm not going to go into all of it here. Your passport opens doors. It doesn't have to open your entire life. Use an alternate form of ID, like a passport card or a license instead of this guy whenever you can. If you have to make copies or share this, make sure it's only being shared with reputable people and organizations that you trust. And make sure if you have to be carrying it anywhere away from your home, it's on your person, securely stored, where no one can gain access to it physically or digitally. All the guides I mentioned are in the description below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Safe travels, guys.